And God said, "Let there be
The
light."
Lord says, "Let my people go."
I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
This is the Talkin' Bible podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Talkin' Bible, and great to have you with us. We're talking today. Yesterday we were talking about Revelation, the sort of Jesus' great glory, and then in this passage, John chapter 2, right at the beginning of John's Gospel, is actually, ironically, I didn't think about this until just now. John wraps this passage up with this miracle by saying this is how Jesus declared his glory and his disciples put their faith in him.
It's pretty amazing,
So this is
isn't
the
it?
revealing of God's glory, Jesus' glory, not the glory that we saw in Revelation 1, but the fact that Jesus turns water into wine. It says at the end, where does it say it?
I mean, if you were a young
It doesn't
fella,
actually say it here. It's in the next bit. It's not in verse 12. It doesn't. Yes, verse 11.
here it is.
This miraculous sign in Cana in Galilee was the first time Jesus revealed his glory and his disciples believed in him.
I mean, if you were a young fella and you just seen the rabbi turn water into wine,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
you'd be there going, I think I'm hanging around this
I
fella.
think I'll hang around this fella for a while. Free wine.
This
Is
guy
it a good
knows what
Shiraz?
he's doing.
Not just any wine. This
Did
isn't
you-
the cheap wine. This is the best wine.
It was water and it's wine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he might be the one.
I think he'll be the one, especially to a Jew, where wine was symbolic of joy and there's all this rich symbolism. Anyway, so much we could say. We could talk for
Totally.
hours on this passage. Where would you like to go, Shannon?
Oh, look, let's read the passage and we'll pull bits out. And wow, this is one of my favorite Bible verses.
Is that right? Okay.
Because there's party.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jesus' first
It's a
miracle.
wedding, first miracle.
And what a miracle it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's any miracle you want to be around.
This is not,
This has
interestingly
gotta
enough, this
be
is not like
one,
healing blind
surely.
people, cleansing lepers, raising dead. This is very different. And yet John says this is Jesus' first miracle.
It's his first miracle.
Interesting, isn't it?
And there's a part of me that just I haven't done enough study on this, but I reckon there's something here for the mums. I have a feeling there's something here for the mums.
Right. Tell me more.
Because I reckon Jesus' mum was like, right, son, and as much as Jesus is going, it's not my time yet. And I think Jesus' mum's going, actually, it is.
It is. Now's the time.
Now is the time.
Time for you to shine, son.
And I love how she does it.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because I think there's some chutzpah here that we don't talk
Mary's
about.
got some chutzpah, all right.
Because it is awesome. So we'll talk about some chutzpah as well.
Yeah, okay.
So let's read it and we'll go from there. So on the third day, a wedding took place in Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Woman, why do you involve me?" Now, let's stop there. When he says woman, this is meant in no disrespect.
No, the NLT translates it dear woman, but yes,
Yeah.
it's a term of endearment, isn't
That's
it?
right. And so we, how many times have I heard this?
Yeah.
Oh, he was so angry at
He's
her.
dissing his mother.
Dissing his
Yeah.
mother,
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
oh, no. It's just, there's no disrespect
No.
meant in this.
I
It's like,
I think it's almost a way. You need to see this as Jesus bantering with her. Oh, come on, Mum.
come
My-
on,
it's not
Mum,
time
it's
yet.
not my time
Yeah,
yet.
yeah. It's almost like
We're
there's a
at
bit of a wink.
wedding.
There's a bit of a wink in his eye as he
And
does
then
this.
the chutzpah comes out. And chutzpah is a bit of guts, a bit of, like she's got some go in her.
Yeah.
She's not gonna give up
She's not gonna
anytime
give up.
soon.
No.
And
She kind of puts him on the spot, doesn't she?
she does, and I just love that she says. Jesus replies, "My hour has not yet come," and Jesus' mother, she totally agrees and says, "Do whatever he tells you." I love that. She turns to the servants.
Yep.
She's already lined them up. She doesn't have to go looking for them. She's already lined the servants
Yeah.
up. She's told Jesus the problem.
She just knows
Right?
she's going to do something about it.
Exactly right. And then says, do whatever he
Yeah,
says.
yeah. I don't know what he's going to do, but just trust him.
Just trust him. Do whatever he says.
Yeah.
Now, we've seen Jesus do some wild things in miracles.
Mm-hmm.
Mud in eyes, dirt in eyes, jump in some dirty water. anything could have happened.
Yeah.
And I just have this picture. You know, Mary says, do whatever he says, and then she gets out of there like, la, 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 I don't want to know. I don't want to know. You know, I just know it's going to be good. I'm going back to the party.
Okay. Yep.
You know, I just have this
That's good. I
picture
like it.
of her just going, la, 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 la.
Yeah, I've done my
wanna-
part. I've done the introduction. Now it's over to you, son.
It's over to you.
Yeah,
you
gotcha.
know, I'm turning a blind eye to however you get this done. Just get it done.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know?
And there's good reason to assume that this was probably a family connection.
Yes.
For Jesus to invite his disciples along, there's probably some kind of extended family connection. This wedding.
There must have been some closeness in there.
That's right. For Mum Mary to come to Jesus and fix it. I mean, you don't do that unless you're fairly connected with it. And we have to realise too that there is tremendous embarrassment.
Huge embarrassment here.
And I see a little bit of this in Middle Eastern cultures that I have a bit to do with. This whole idea of having to, it's almost like an honour shame culture, to have to not be seen to be the one who hasn't provided enough food.
Oh.
Is, you know, we just go, oh, yeah, okay, there's not enough food. We like to make sure that there's enough food, but we just, you know, it's not the end of the world. But in that culture, to not have enough food or run out of wine or not be able to provide for your guests, because we're deeply entrenched in hospitality culture here, this is the ultimate shame.
Yep.
And so it's like, this is not just a small feat. This is not, Jesus is doing something here, but he's actually doing something to honour the family,
He's
the father of the bride.
restoring their honour.
Yes, exactly.
And because out of that, if that honour wasn't restored, the shame
Yep. Would have had implications for the family.
for a very long time.
And whether we agree with that or not, we just have to go, well, that's, and you know, if you know anyone from Middle Eastern culture or Arab culture or Lebanese culture or Egyptians, or even across into, even Greek culture, even across into other parts of the Mediterranean, Italians, they still have this, Mediterranean culture in general, and Middle Eastern culture still has a very high regard for hospitality that we don't always get.
That's right.
Yeah.
I used to MC weddings.
Oh yeah, you've done plenty of them, I'm sure.
Done plenty of them, and there's been plenty of night where at the end of the night, food is still coming out, and we're saying goodbye to the bride and groom.
Yep.
Like, how are we still serving food? Like, you know, a skip wedding, the food stopped at 9 o'clock. Like, dessert's been served. We're dancing on the dance floor. We're working out.
Bride and groom out the door.
Bride and the groom out the door. See you later. We're wrapping the night up.
Yep.
Like, come on, it's we've got a plan. No, they're still serving food, and there's enough alcohol to make sure everyone.
You need to make sure that your guests do not run out and your guests leave full. So we saw this with our daughter Amy and her our son-in-law Nick, who's Lebanese. We saw it at their wedding. It was a very big eye opener to us because we'd never been to a Middle Eastern wedding before a Lebanese wedding. So you
didn't know drums could be so loud.
Oh no, we'd had experience with the Lebanese restaurants prior to that. But yes, we saw it at the wedding. But for all of our family, all the Westerners there, at our traditional wedding, you hang around and hopefully the bride and groom will leave so you can go home. You know, you're waiting for the bride and groom to leave so you can go home and check out, right? What we saw was that all of Nick's family all had left during the night, and all of the Westerners were all hanging around waiting for the bride and groom to leave. And we discovered actually the bride and groom are the last ones to leave. They don't leave like we do. And you have to keep serving food until the guests decide they've had enough and they leave. And there should be food left over when the guests leave.
That's right.
And so, like, most of the family had gone to that side, and all of us were sitting on this side going, oh, is this night finishing? And the
what time are they going?
But we realised that's the culture because of this hospitality culture. I love it. I think that's what Jesus is coming into here. If the guests haven't left full and there isn't still food and wine left for the guests when they're ready to leave, you have not been a good host.
Yeah. And I can't tell. I have a very nice top shelf in my house of alcohol that I've been given by fathers of the bride, fathers of the groom, where they've had alcohol left over, bottles of alcohol on the table, where they've said to me, thank you very much.
Here you go.
For giving us a fantastic evening.
Yeah.
You've been a wonderful master of ceremonies. This is a
Beautiful.
gift from the family.
Yep.
And, all sorts of stuff that I'm like, I may never open that.
But
because it's been a wonderful gift.
Indicative of that that culture.
but a wonderful,
Yeah.
culture. Like one day it'll get open.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's many bottles of alcohol there. And I'll come home and I'll have another bottle of alcohol.
Another one to put.
And Vanessa, "Oh, what sort of wedding was it?" I'm like,
it was a Middle Eastern wedding, or
Middle
it was-
Eastern, or Italian, or
Yeah,
Lebanese,
that's right.
or but that's the culture.
Yes, that's right.
And it's a beautiful culture.
Yeah, it is.
But it is, when the wine runs out, this is a big dilemma.
Yeah. So Jesus comes along and fixes it.
And so Jesus is fixing it. And one of the things we don't talk about in this verse is the joy that the family would have experienced.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So there would have been this panic of there's no wine. You can imagine the parents of we've run out of wine. Oh my gosh, where can we get wine from? How long is it going to be here? Like
Yeah.
how long?
Yeah, where are we going to get this one?
What's going to happen? The joy of being told by the host there's wine.
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
Yep.
What happened? It's
And he
taken
didn't
care
know,
of.
but the servants knew, it says. Yeah.
Exactly right. It's taken care of, and the whispers that would have gone through the place, from those servers. It would have been amazing.
Yes. It would have totally revolutionized that family, the potential shame that they would have suffered for years to come.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think sometimes we hear the miracle, but we don't talk about
The background behind it.
the restoration, the joy.
That's right. And Jesus masterfully restores that family before they get shamed.
Yes.
Because obviously, presumably, this is happening like in a hurry. So restoring them, not just giving them cheap wine, but the best wine. But in that process, he's using that process to reveal something of his glory that enables his disciples to see he's the one.
Yes.
See him do something special here. So he marries those two together. And there's definitely, I haven't got my notes in front of me, there's definitely a reference to this whole concept of, the concept of wine being joy is deeply stooped in the Old Testament, isn't it? So I don't know if you've got anything in your notes about that, but this was significant that Jesus was, there's even messianic overtones here.
That's
to
right.
wine.
So partying was a very big thing in the Old Testament. You had to know how to party.
Yep.
And that was part of really the Jewish culture is you had to know when to party, when not to party.
Yep.
And a wedding was the ultimate party.
Yep.
And
It
so
lasts for a week.
Exactly right. So they knew how to party, and the importance of wine at a party was so intrinsic.
Yes.
It was you couldn't, if you didn't have it, it was shameful. It
Yeah.
was like, hang on, we're having the party without the
Without
party.
without the party. Yeah, that's right. You can't have a party without wine is the way they would say it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, hang on, where's the celebration here?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't something they would be doing every night.
No, and this is not advocating for drunkenness. This is doesn't mean everyone got drunk. This is just the culture, and you see this in Italian culture today. I mean, I think in large parts of Australian culture, especially Australian Christian culture, there's been this whole let's not drink alcohol at all. And I'm not saying some people shouldn't be drinking alcohol, but in those cultures, in those Middle Eastern cultures, and Mediterranean cultures, it's very much around helping young people to understand you can actually enjoy wine and not have to live drunkenness, not have alcoholic problems. And you see that a lot my understanding is a lot in Mediterranean cultures is they don't, it's not that there isn't alcohol abuse there, but it's not as rife as it is in some other cultures that either see alcohol, almost that whole abstinence thing can actually lead to more of an abuse.
Yeah, I
than
think
this moderation thing that the Middle Eastern Jews often have.
Yeah, we seem to have a very unhealthy binge drinking culture.
Yes, almost that. Yes,
And
that's right.
It's not healthy.
Which is potentially why we need to realize we've got to read it through on the lens of those cultures. And Middle Eastern and Mediterranean cultures tended not. I'm using the word tend there because obviously there's exceptions, but they didn't tend to have as much of a problem with a binge drinking culture because they understood more of a moderation drinking culture.
Yep. Now, we can. It's a different culture when we're talking about the Greek, Roman.
Oh, they would often
parties.
Yes.
That's a different party.
Yep.
That
was get drunk.
was
Yeah.
literally
And-
we are going to get blotto.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's
not,
true.
That's not what we're talking
Jewish
about. Yep.
culture here.
Yep.
Yes, that's right.
Let's read on because there's still more. We're missing out on all the good stuff.
Okay, let's keep going then.
Okay, so do whatever he tells you. So nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. So you can just imagine them coming in. They're right to the top.
Just stop for a second. Let's go 20 gallons.
Yep.
So 120
that is-
gallons
Yep. So
times 4, 480 litres.
well,
water.
I actually have done the calculation on this.
Yeah.
So that would be worth 760 bottles of alcohol.
Wow. Of the best alcohol.
Of the best alcohol.
Yeah. That's like some wineries produce that in a year.
So just
a lot of wine.
picture that. Now, if we put an average price on a really nice bottle of alcohol,
Just go $100 a bottle.
well, if you go $100 a bottle, that's $76,000.
Wow. That's a lot. It's a lot of wine.
Just like that.
Yeah, wow. Amazing.
Thanks for coming.
No wonder they put their glory. No wonder they went, wow, this guy's special.
This guy's amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
That's like when you think 760 bottles of alcohol,
Wow.
just like that.
Incredible.
Now, no wonder they're up to the brim. Now draw out some and take it to the master of the banquet. And they did, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, and thought the servants had drawn, who had drawn the water, they knew.
They knew. Yeah, they knew. Yeah.
You know. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine, the best wine, first, and then the cheaper one after all the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best until now." What Jesus had done here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he has revealed his glory. And his disciples believed in him after he went down to Capernaum with his mother and his brothers and his disciples, where they stayed for a few days. This, I just love the picture also of the master of the banquet, like the shock look of what's going on here. Have I made a mistake?
Yeah.
Like,
Should I have put this wine out at the start?
Where did you find this wine?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
This is the good stuff.
Yep.
Who's been hiding the good stuff? I've been serving what I thought was the good stuff, and we should have been serving that stuff.
This is the stuff should have come out first.
Yeah, like what? Where have you been hiding this? And where do I buy this stuff from? Because this is really good. Like, what? And he's pulled the bridegroom away to the side. Like, you don't pull the bridegroom aside.
Yeah.
Like, he's the important part of the party.
So I'm interested in that because I wonder if it was the bridegroom's family that were responsible for putting on the wedding. And traditionally not so much these days, but the traditional view is it's the bride's family that would would fund the wedding. I mean, that rarely happens these days, which is praise God for that. But that was the traditional view, wasn't it? But he seems like he hasn't called on the bride's father here. He's called on the bridegroom.
Yeah. He's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Have you made a mistake? Have I made a mistake?
Yeah, what's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah, that's right.
And the bridegroom, he's just
probably baffled too.
He's relieved that there's wine.
Yes,
he's
that's right,
like, well, where did it come from?
Yeah,
Because there wasn't any.
Isn't it interesting that we don't hear the implications of how that affected the family? It's like John is obviously implying that's there, but his focus in this story is on this being a sign for his disciples.
The disciples have just gone, wow.
Yeah. And it's actually worth mentioning here about the word sign because the first 11 chapters of John, I've only learned this recently actually, but in Bible college, but they call it the book of signs. And John does not really refer to them as miracles. The synoptic gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, tend to refer to them as miracles. But John he lists there's debate about what the 7 signs are, but there's specific miracles that John says are signs that point to who Jesus is. So there's this one. There's the healing of the blind man. There's the raising of the guy that's the lame man and all this sort of stuff. But each of these signs is actually trying to reveal something of who Jesus is, and that's how way John has constructed his gospel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is one of them.
This is the first of
The
them.
first.
Yeah. And so linked with that, he says John actually calls it a sign because it's revealing something of Jesus' glory. So when you're looking for these signs, and you'll see the word sign appear multiple times in these early chapters, linked with that is this phrase that he says to his mum, "My time has not yet come." And this is the first time that appears. But you see John uses that intentionally throughout his gospel as well. The time has not yet come. Jesus walked through the crowd because his time had not yet come. His time had not yet come.
Yeah.
I talked about this with Jeannie, I think a few weeks ago. I think it was Jeannie. You get to this one encounter where Jesus, Philip comes to Jesus and he says, "Hey, there's some Greeks who want to talk to you." And Jesus says, "Now my time has come."
Yes.
So the time that he's referring to there is his death, the time of his death and the multiplication. All the way through, his time hasn't come yet because he's not ready to die.
Yep.
He knows that will come.
And he was good at laying low.
Yes, intentionally. John 7, he stays out of the temple.
Intentional, yes. He's very intentional in going, I know when I have to speak up.
Yep.
And I know when I need to get out of here. And
Yeah, I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago with John 7, where he stayed with his brother. I think I was talking to Tim. He stayed with his brothers, stayed behind, and then when he was ready, he went.
Yeah.
The time issue is a very big deal in John's gospel. So there's all these things that we can learn. John has crafted his letter using some very key words, which are very helpful, and a lot of them are introduced here in this story, John 2. Yeah. It's
Awesome.
a fascinating story. It certainly is. The water into wine. Beautiful.
Great.
All right, anything else you want to say?
no, that's about it.
Okay, we'll move on to reconciling before the altar. Jesus teaching about anger. This will be a fun one. Let's do this one.
Well, if you have too much wine, you'll end up
with
angry.
Yeah, that's true. All right, talk to you, everybody, on the next episode. Thanks for being with us.